It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicky Brackens. Vicky Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Where's Vicky? That's not Vicky. Vicky, we have a special guest in the building. It's our friendly neighborhood advisor, Michael Jennings. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good, George. I'm happy to be back. It's definitely been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. All right, so Michael, what you got on the agenda for today?
Yeah. Again, it's been a while. We've been pretty busy over here at Bracken's Financial, and the friendly neighborhood advisor has been out making connections in the community and hearing some of your concerns, hearing some of your ideas. So, we figured it was a good time for me to get back on air and share some helpful tips. So, are you ready, George, for today's segment?
I want to know what you've been hearing, my brother.
Well, actually, what I something I've been hearing recently and was brought up by one of our clients, and what I wanted to talk about was um planning for the future. Now, this is something that our firm talks about day to day anyway.
Mhm.
But more specifically, I wanted to discuss planning for the rest of the summer and actually back to school season. Now, George, you have children, right? So,
Oh yeah.
what's been what's been your experience with back to school shopping?
It's wow. First of all, it all of a sudden the summer's over and you get hit with the school supply list, the new clothes list, and the pictures the first week of the school. Oh my God. It definitely is something that you do have to be ready for. You got the and then what's interesting, it's at the end of the state fair, it's at the end of vacations. And so all of a sudden it's back to school, Michael. And if you're not careful, you find yourself in like, what the heck is going on? So it can
Exactly.
be quite expensive if you don't plan for it.
Exactly. It's so, like you just said, so much that goes into it, and you actually beat me to the punch here. And
Oh,
just a disclaimer. I know some of you out there are listening or you're watching on YouTube, and you're like, It's the beginning of July. Why is this guy talking about back to school planning, right?" But I'm just saying, school just ended, maybe a week and a half ago, and that's true. But the back to school season is one of the most expensive times for parents.
mm.
And that's actually right behind holiday spending on average. Um, the summer never lasts as long as anyone wants it to. And it might just be an indication of I'm getting older. I'm turning 30 this week, George.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep, three whole decades I've been on this earth, and and which I'm fine with, right? But it just seems like now more than ever that time is an illusion. Every time I blink, it's another week gone. So I know before long, a lot of you out there will be right back to stumbling around the house in the morning, half sleep, trying to get the kids ready to school. It'll be here sooner before you think. And I also know a lot of you out there, you're on the biweekly pay schedule. So just to put it in perspective, put it in those terms, you have maybe four more paychecks before those school buses start pulling up again. So the
Oh, wait a
tips
minute.
that,
Say that
that
again. How many?
you got four, maybe five, depending on when your actual payday is. But
Ooh.
that's it. 4 or 5 paychecks before those school buses start pulling up on your block again.
Mm.
So, what are the tips for the summer, right? For the rest of the summer. First things first, and that's understanding what your budget is, understanding your cash flow. Now, I've been an advisor for 5 years now. Vicky, who's not here, she's
Wait a
been an
minute.
advisor.
Has it been 5 years?
It's been 5 years, George, almost, just about.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
about, yeah, exactly. You who you telling? And Vicky, she's not here, but she's been around much longer than that, obviously.
Right.
And I am fully confident in my observation that the average person has little to no idea how much they actually spend. And this is coming from, personal experience. This is coming from what I hear people talking about, and this is coming from our conversations that we actually have with our clients. They have no idea whether it's food, going out on the weekends, dining out, all of the different subscription services. Those things really add up. So for the average person, there's usually that one, maybe two expense line items that is just totally out of control. And that's really because they don't take the time to sit down and kind of look at their situation. And that's a problem, right? So your cash flow, which is all of the money, all of the income that you're making coming into your household versus what's going out, right? Um, and what's going out with that, the main thing with that is that it dictates what you can do, right? So if you're spending more than what you're bringing in and you don't realize it, then that's a problem. And usually if that's happening and you're not realizing it, that means you're probably doing something like filling that gap with credit, using your credit cards,
Mm-hmm.
which is debt. And that's how people, so many people end up in all these, a debt crisis, because they're just like, they're first of all, they're barely keeping their head above water from what they're making versus their expenses. And now they're like, oh, let me use my credit card. I'm gonna swipe that. I'll pay for it later and forget to pay for it later. Then they start adding more stuff in it. Then the interest gets put on and interest compounds. So it's just a problem, right? So my advice, please plan out the rest of your expenses for the summer. I know people like to enjoy summer activities with the traveling and the camps and George, you brought up the state fair. I got it. And listen, I'm not one of those people that I'm not one to keep parents from letting their kids enjoy the summer, but you should also be mindful. If you know you have a big expense coming up, such as back to school spending, if you know your kids are going to need the fresh set of clothes, they're gonna need those new shoes, they're gonna need everything they need to start the year off with.
Lab
Then make sure,
fees and things like that.
all I'm saying,
Pictures on the third day of school.
pictures. All I'm saying is, do some planning, start saving a little bit of that off to the side, right? Um, and yes, there's so many things that you can do in this summer, but you have to ask yourself, right? Are these experiences more important than making sure your kids are well prepared for school? Are these experiences more important than setting your kids up for the future? I know a lot of you will agree that it's not. So, you know, take the time, do those fun things, be mindful of what you're spending, but also understand that there's some things that need to get done coming up pretty soon. So that's the first tip. Next tip is just, so what you mentioned too is don't overdo it on the school supplies. I know people are eager to hit all the back to school sales and get the same things, and you multiply that by every class, and then you multiply all of that by however many kids you have, right? That now my advice is just wait a little bit, right? Those sales will still be there the first second week of school. Just get a few basic things for your kids and wait until your kids' teachers tell you what they need, because they usually do that. So instead of just going out and getting all these bulk items and having your kids lug them to school, just wait until you get those that first week. Let the teachers tell you what they need, right? Listen, we're Americans. We have a tendency to overconsume, and that comes with a tendency to overbuy things because we think we're going to have to use them all. Just
Mm.
wait. Just wait for a little bit. I promise you, they'll tell you exactly
We're
what
gonna
they need.
listen. We're gonna come see you, Michael, if we waited and then we don't get that deal here. Well,
You'll
you want
find it,
us to
trust me.
come. Well, listen. Let me say that you want us to come see you anyway. So come see me if not, or come see me if it is right.
Just come into office. I'll be here. I'll take all criticism. I'll take all complaints.
Hey, listen. Just call me, right?
Just calling. And one last tip, just take advantage of the free supplies and all the other things from these local organizations,
Oh
right?
yeah, this backpack giveaways and things of that nature.
Exactly. Exactly. Every year at the end of the summer, you can bet there will be plenty of these local organizations that are providing a bunch of free things for the kids, whether it's like you said, the free backpacks, the free school supplies giveaways, the free haircuts. I know there are people out there like Mary Nelson who makes it a point to do these giveaways every year because they understand how important it is to get the kids ready, get the kids excited for school. Growing up, I was one of those kids. I was excited for school just because I knew I can go to school, see my friends, learn new stuff, things like that. But we do have an issue here in Syracuse as far as the learning environment and kids being where they need to be in school and learning the things they need to do, and not having enough resources, not having enough teachers per student, whatever the case may be. Is we are behind. We really are. So we have to find ways to get kids excited to not just go to school, but excited to engage, excited to learn. It's Syracuse has been in a bleak state for the last however many decades, probably as many decades that I've been alive now. And now we're in this like renaissance. We have so many businesses coming in, so many new people, so many new opportunities. Now, if we want to make sure that our own homegrown people right here from Syracuse get their fair share of all of that, all of those opportunities, we have to make sure that they're prepared for it. So I think the first step is just making sure that kids are excited for school.
Very good. And so now that we have all our saving tips, what else should we do?
Plan everything. I'm telling you, that's it. There's few things that can happen to you. There's few things that exist that can't be planned for. And whether it's things that we know or things that we don't know. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future, but we can do things to put measures in place to make sure that when those bad things or when those unexpected things do happen, you're not completely left out there, hanging out there to dry. There's a little bit of protection there because you took the time just to sit down and understand your financial situation and say, hey, I'm exposed in these few areas. So let me try to do something. Let me talk to my advisor. Let me get some guidance and let me let him tell me what I need to do and make sure that I do it because I know he's working in my best interest, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
so then if you were their advisor, how would they get a hold of you?
well, that's easy. I actually remember my phone number this time, George. Trust me, it's not the first time I came on, right? So if you have any questions, if you have any questions about the financial planning process, if you want to hear some more tips, if you just want to have a conversation just to see where you really are, where you really stand with your finances, then feel free to give me a call at 315-748-5540. Again, that's 315-748-5540.
All right, Michael Jennings, the Friendly Neighborhood Advisor. But we want people to know that Vicky Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She's America's money maven, but Michael is your friendly neighborhood advisor.
That I am.